all you need to know. The Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. You're listening to the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Here you'll get the unvarnished news and updates that'll help you get a head start on your day. Today is the 3rd of February. There was a great deal of conversation on Saturday about the use of the escape clause in India's fiscal law, which allows the government to expand its fiscal deficit by 0.5 percentage point of the GDP. Accordingly, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that India's fiscal deficit would settle at 3.8% in the current financial year. Next year's target has been set at 3.5% of GDP. But Subhash Chandra Garg, the former Economic Affairs Secretary to the Government of India, said next year's target relies on optimistic tax targets and a large, ambitious disinvestment of Life Insurance Corporation of India. If concluded, a 10% stake sale in LIC could help raise 80,000 to 90,000 crore rupees, according to Garg, who added that the listing of India's largest insurance company was a good move. Meanwhile, the Employees Union of Life Insurance Corporation of India has strongly opposed the government's plan to sell a part of its holding in the country's largest financial institution through a public issue. A spokesperson of the union claimed that any dilution of the government's stake in LIC would shake the faith of the policyholders in the institution. Following the presentation of the budget, there was some confusion about the tax liability of non-resident Indians on their global incomes. The finance minister clarified that there was no intention to tax non-resident Indians that belong to a tax jurisdiction abroad, even if that jurisdiction doesn't levy a tax like in the Middle East. Instead, it is meant as an anti-abuse provision, since it has come to light that some Indian citizens shift their stay to low or no tax jurisdictions to avoid payment of tax on revenue earned in India. The Finance Ministry said this in a statement. Sitharaman also defended the new tax regime that she introduced in the budget, with lower rates of tax for those who give up on exemptions. She was quoted by news agency PTI as asking that if the new scheme will eventually result in people paying more than in the old scheme, why would she come up with such a system? You'll find Bloomberg Quint's analysis of the new tax regime on the website bloombergquint.com. In international news, China's central bank said it would inject more than $21 billion of liquidity in seeking to avert a potential sell-off from the coronavirus outbreak. The US, meanwhile, is ready to redirect flights with passengers from China. A jump in fatalities and a surge in infections has stoked fears of contagion. Airlines in Asia, Europe and the Middle East, too, stopped services to the mainland. Chinese markets will have opened by the time you listen to this, so don't forget to have a look at where they're trading. They're opening, remember, after a very protracted break, and they will likely open with sharp cuts. This, in fact, could have a significant bearing on global markets as well. As of now, the 3 early rises in the Asia-Pacific region, that's the one in Japan, in South Korea and in Australia, have all opened with cuts of close to 1.5%. Boris Johnson plans to say that he's prepared to quit talks over the UK's future trading relationship with the European Union if he doesn't get what he wants. In his first speech since Britain formally left the EU, the Prime Minister will spell out to business leaders and diplomats today his aims for negotiating the future terms of trade with the bloc. And with that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Darshan. How are we looking at the start of the week?
Hi, Alex. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Global cues seem to be muted. We were open on Saturday, so we actually factored in the drop that we saw on the Dow. Today, the Asian markets are down significantly. The SGX Nifty is also indicating a deep cut, but remember, that does not factor in Saturday's downturn. So pretty much, if you consider all that, the SGX Nifty is trading absolutely muted today. In terms of results today, there is Tata Chemicals, Ujjivan Financial, Godrej Properties, GlaxoSmithKline Pharma, Affle India, Century Plyboard, Shalby, Shriram Transport Finance, Welspun Corp, Specialty Restaurant, SRF, Deepak Nitrite, as well as Dr. Lal Path Labs. In terms of results announced, Shobha results were in line with estimates. The revenues up 12%, profit up 5%. EBITDA was up 80%, which means EBITDA margins at 32.5% versus 20%. But after all the adjustment, EBITDA was up 25%, which means adjusted EBITDA margins at 22.5% versus 20.2%. The finance costs were up 3 times because of the Ind AS impact. Real estate revenues up 15%, contractual manufacturing revenues up 7%. Garden Reach Shipbuilders revenues down 25%, profit down 36%. There was an EBITDA loss of 1.2 crores versus an EBITDA profit of 41 crores last time. Relaxo Footwear's revenues up 8%, profit up 50%, EBITDA up 40%. The moderate growth in revenues was due to the weak economic slowdown and extended winter, and margins increased due to low raw material cost and premiumization. Mahindra Holidays revenues down 2%, profit down 84%, EBITDA up 46%. The margins were at 15% versus 10%, and again the EBITDA was up because of the Ind AS impact. The resort occupancy at 83.6% versus 81.9%, and they added in 3,800 members in the current quarter. Thyrocare Technologies revenues up 10%, profit up 36%, EBITDA up 23%. The cost control aided the margins, and the revenue growth was led by the diagnostic testing business. The imaging business was slightly weak. In terms of the auto sales that came out, Tata Motors domestic sales was down 18% at 45,242 units. Our estimate was 53,000 units. Hero MotoCorp, the two-wheeler sales was down 14% at 5,01,622. Our estimate was 5,54,439. Eicher Motors, the sales was down 13% at 63,520 versus the estimate of 64,675. Eicher, the commercial vehicle sales was down 6%, and SML Isuzu sales was up 11%. In terms of other news, Coal India, the January production was up 10% and offtake was up 7%. And finally, Muthoot Capital complete securitization worth 173 crores. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website, bloombergquint.com, and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you'll be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. Well, that's all we have for you on this podcast. But like Darshan said, there's a lot more on the website, bloombergquint.com. So don't forget to check it out. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and an even better week ahead.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.